we talk about independence. What is it really?
Yeah. Well, it's a good day to celebrate. I'm telling you that. We actually did quite a bit of celebration.
Yeah, we did. It was
for
awesome.
Independence Day. Had a whole day of it. I mean,
it's all about
beginning to end.
Yeah, celebrating. Yeah, celebrating with friends and family, which we did.
Yeah, we did.
It was amazing and fantastic and those activities that are truly American.
And we're both a little hoarse over it, I guess, because we were woohooing it, for almost 24 hours. But listen, so. Obviously, I mean, hopefully all the audience understands why we celebrate this. The beginning of our birth of America is from 1776, whenever 13 colonies actually separated themselves from political ties with the British. And I don't know if everybody understands how significant that is. What I'd love to do is challenge people to actually look that up. That's part of our history. So no erasing that, okay? Because that's part of our journey to become the great nation that we are in the beginning of that journey. So no erasing it.
I don't think there's a lot of people out there anymore that even know how this country was established or why.
Yeah.
And it basically boils down to a simple thing. One simple thing that unified the whole entire country was taxation without representation.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds familiar to what's happening these days.
Oh my gosh,
Who would have thought?
I would love for this to be a great podcast of just joy and, we could shoot off the fireworks and just have nothing but fun stuff to go along with it. But, I mean, naturally it brings up and arises, the questions and all the concerns that we all have as America, at least 100 million of us anyway, I believe, somewhere in there, probably more.
I think it's actually more. But
actually, I do too.
Yeah, I think that the powers that be try to convince people that it's not, but I believe it's a lot more.
So, really the stripped down truth of injustice segueing into really what is becoming an acceptable future for our America. And part of that is just all the things that have happened leading up to today, really in the last even couple of years. I mean, literally from the onset of, Trump trying to drain the swamp and talking about draining the swamp. I think he could clearly saw a vision of what was happening and actually got in there and tried to do something about it. But let's start with the Chinese virus. I mean, let's go ahead and kind of run this down a little bit of why I think that our country as an independent nation is really starting to decay. And we're actually watching the decomposition of it right before our eyes.
Well, and American taxpayers are having their hard wages stolen to actually fund the removal of their God-given rights. Now, how sarcastic is that? How crazy is that?
I know.
You're funding your own demise.
That's true.
Cool.
And we're standing idly by, and we're allowing it to happen. I mean, people want to scream and go crazy about what happened on January 6th, but I mean, I think some people really just kind of looked at it as, oh my God, we've got to say something. We've got to stand up and say something. So let's start with the Chinese virus. I mean, now, of course, everything is they're talking about it was actually fabricated in manufactured, I should say, in the Wuhan lab in China. Wow. I mean, big shocker there. I think somebody else said it was in the beginning, right? There's probability of that anyhow.
I'm so surprised that the media who disputed these claims for years in an effort to get to have Trump removed from office,
undermine him completely,
is now saying, faux pas. Guess we made a little mistake there, America.
Yeah, and of course we're supposed to accept that too. It's just a little pass. Oh my gosh, well, sorry, shocker. Let's just move on to the very next thing. I mean,
golly.
I know. And you've said it all along. This has just been one big smoke screen all along anyway. And it's true. So then you have people like, Colin Kaepernick, who first, started kneeling down instead of standing up for the national anthem and the flag and showing his ass is the way I like to look at that. Then you got Macy Gray, who's saying that we need to actually redesign the darn flag because it's too white and the colors are all wrong. Gosh.
Number one, who in the hell is Macy Gray? Number two, what did she do? I mean, did she help write the Declaration of Independence? Did she?
No.
Was she a freedom fighter?
No. Okay.
Did she help create the Bill of Rights or the Magna Carta? Because I'm kind of wondering who she is and how she plays into this thing, and why anybody would even give her any relevancy. And there's areas of the world where there actually are gross, huge civil rights injustices against people, where people actually are enslaved.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you would think that if that was her platform, maybe she would utilize what influence she has, and I don't know why she has any influence or why she has even a name, but if she had influence, don't you think that she would rather use that in an area where people actually are experiencing slavery, and especially women and children?
She's done nothing that I know of that would, she's not a contributor to any sacrifice. So here's a message for you, Macy Gray. You know what? How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Okay, number one, you're irrelevant, and I don't really care what you have to say because my respect.
Go sing a song.
Yeah,
that's what you need to do.
Does she do that?
Yeah.
Okay. My respect for people is largely based on the ability to be clear, critical thinkers, and to base their opinions on truth and fact, not just on emotional hearsay, and not try to convince you on how you should think clearly when their stance is not based on any critical thinking.
Yeah, and then you look at Gwen Berry, who decides, in the Olympics of all things, representing the USA, stands away from the national anthem, refuses to put her hand over her heart, and she has a statement. Well, here's the statement that I see out of that.
We got a statement for you.
You know what? Why don't you pack your bags and leave America? If you don't like it so much, get the hell out. And that stands in my... For anyone who feels that way, don't stay here. You got lots and lots of countries you can go to. Go there. If you don't like our country, go there.
GTFO.
Yeah.
Out.
Absolutely.
Out of here.
You're representing the United States of America in our Olympics, and yet you're using your platform to literally undermine what we stand for as a nation. And I don't like you.
No.
I don't like you.
You know what? These people can't have a platform if we don't give it to them. So, this gray person... I'm not going to say its name because it has no relevancy in my life.
I wanted to say her name so she know how much I think it's disgusting. That's why I would say it. That'd be the only reason I would say it.
Name.
Then you got all these demands, from a collective race of people that we, as another collective race of people, needs to pay reparations to them for something that happened hundreds of years ago. That's been going on and on and on. You got the continued havoc in the streets and the continued burning.
That have nothing better to do. They don't feel like they belong because they've always been so antisocial.
Yeah.
They don't believe they belong. And now they have created their own community of worthless pieces of crap. And they can run amok and they can run through the streets and they can create havoc and terrorize people. They are the domestic terrorists in this country.
Actually are. It's becoming from a place of their own emotions and not anything that's significant in the real world about contributing to our society or contributing to their society, to be honest with you.
I believe it's from a base state of savagery that these people are reacting on, and this gives them an opportunity to do so because the left have embraced these people, and the left utilizes these people in the chaos that they love to create.
There's no doubt about that. They just ignited the fire.
Get a job.
Yeah, go get a job instead of tearing down all of your opportunities to do something for yourself. So then we've got the continued defunding of the police, screaming, demands to defund the police and talking about the police. And we've gone over that a few times in our podcast. Just a constant situation. We got Nancy Pelosi out there. I don't know if people really realize this, but her delay in the COVID package, which by the way ended up not really helping COVID victims and didn't even help America as a society, is a very tiny part of that 1.9 trillion. I don't even know, just a few percent that even helps the American people. It's like the most ridiculous thing in the world. But she deliberately delayed that until Biden was in office because she was so fearful of Trump getting any credit for anything, which means she was okay with holding, America hostage.
And also they needed to make sure that the deviants and that the maniacs, that the slave masters that are in office that have no care and concern about the actual continuation of the United States of America.
Oh my gosh.
All they want to do is see its destruction. I mean, they needed to ensure that they do things like fund the Wuhan lab until 2024.
Yeah. I mean, come on. You know and I know that this was not a mistake. I mean, I don't believe it. I don't believe
but
in
the fact
COVID.
What amazes me
feels like mass murder to me, to be honest.
Well, it is.
It feels like mass murder to me.
It is mass murder. Yeah. We have our country is being held hostage by a group of terrorists. Basically, we have terrorists.
Yeah.
We have terrorists in D.C.
within our own government, okay,
Right.
which is horrible.
And unfortunately now they've turned their hand on their own people. You know, the people that we pay them,
We're funding it.
some of you put them in office. I
Yeah.
didn't put most of these deviant
No.
wretches in office.
No.
Because they didn't get my vote. But I actually don't even believe they got your vote. And that's what's concerning.
That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
all talk about, midterms. Guess
election
what?
integrity.
There's not going to be a midterm change if we don't force transparency and force our election laws to be followed.
And look at Texas. I mean, Texas has just indicted how many judges now?
Go
for,
Texas.
Go Texas.
Go
Texas.
For
fraud with the election. Oh, wait a minute. Democrats thought it couldn't happen. Thought it wasn't happening. Of course it's happened.
Well,
I mean,
but
there's
you wonder,
no question.
I mean, is anything going to be done about it though? Because I mean, every time we turn and there's a gross misuse or gross mishandling of our law system, there doesn't seem to be any justice regarding this, and I for one am kind of tired of it.
Yeah.
And I want my fellow Americans to stand up and say, we're tired as hell of this, and we're not going to put up with it anymore.
There's no question.
We're not going to take it anymore.
Listen, I have to do a shout out to Stacy Christensen. She called me the other night. She's down in Florida. Hello, Stacy. And she said something that I thought was pretty interesting, and it made me chuckle for a minute, but then I got a little fuming mad over it. And she said, am I to believe that there were more voters for Biden, who, by the way, could never even get a crowd of anyone, okay, and hardly anyone to even be there present when he did speak, when he came out of the basement and spoke some. Am I to believe that there were more voters for him than Michael Jackson's Thriller records?
I know, right?
Across
I mean,
the
the Whisperer, Whisperer, and the
seriously.
Broker Extraordinaire?
And I'm like, I had to stop about that. Then I had to look that up, and I'm like, holy cow, yeah, that's an impossibility if you put it that way. It's just not true. Literally, this whole thing is a big setup, and people are being set up. And as a result of that, you know, beautiful moments like the 4th of July celebration, and we're sitting there eating hot dogs and enjoying the wonderful friends and fellowship that we have because it's kind of open now, you know. Isn't that funny that
It's always been open for me.
Yeah, me too, but you know.
Sorry guys, but I don't assimilate into collective thought. This girl thinks for herself.
But we're in the back of our minds, we're having to think about, oh my gosh, you know, how many more of these will we be able to enjoy with the party that's in office, because they're so against anything that contributes to family and fellowship. And that's true if you look at the fact that they were opening liquor stores, but yet the churches were having to remain closed. They're against anything that means fellowship and togetherness. And, you know, that goes against every grain of my body.
Do you know what Slave Master Biden says a patriot is?
Slave
Master Biden says that a patriot is someone who gets the shot. You get the shot.
Yeah, you get the shot.
You get the shot if you're a patriot. Oh my God. This man's crazy.
Can you believe that? If you're a patriot, you'll get the shot.
You're going to acclimate into the collective thought. It's like something out of a bad science fiction
people that
movie.
died and fought for this country is not a patriot in his mind.
Right. No.
You have to get the shot.
You gotta
Basically, you have to follow orders or you're not a patriot.
Yeah.
That's the message. That's the clear new message out there. You have to follow some orders or you're not a patriot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
I can't even
speak about what he said, you know, here recently.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We need an arsenal. But
I mean, you got to have F-15s and you got to have nukes.
Yeah.
If you want to ensure that your patriotic America stays in place, you've got to have F-15s and nukes, fellas.
Yeah. He's letting
go America.
Yeah.
Doesn't that infuriate you? Doesn't that make you sick to your stomach? It makes me sick to my stomach, and it also lets me know Joe Biden hates patriotic America, and he sees us all as the enemy.
Yeah, well, you know, starts out with his character all the way around. I mean, how long's he been in office? Like, I don't know, 4 decades, over 4 decades, almost 5 decades. and has done nothing for America. And now they cheated and have stolen the election, and they had to cause a huge crisis across America to cause the economy to go into a slump and get Trump out of office. Because why? Because he was exposing all of these details.
Exactly.
He's still exposing these details. I don't know if he's going to run in 24, but I do know that he is still a patriot. He is still an American, that believes in us as a people, and that he is going to do everything he can. He'll be behind the scenes if he's not in front of the scenes. I don't know why, but
the great Thomas Jefferson said that periodically the tree of liberty had to be refreshed with the blood of patriots and tyrants.
Yeah.
Joe Biden says that's not the case, that Thomas Jefferson didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson must be a fool for thinking that, and that's not what happened. Joe Biden says that the tree of liberty was never refreshed with patriots' blood, and that's not even a thing. So apparently, Joe Biden believes that the tree of liberty is refreshed with genetic modification to your DNA, depression, anxiety, suicide, child sex slavery, women's sex slavery. Those are the things that Joe Biden believes refreshes the tree of liberty.
Well, that is why he's not. There's been no real penalties for tearing down statues and trying to erase all of our statues across the country. That's why he's not stepping out and saying to the American people, why is he not in front of a camera and saying, stop it, cut it out? Same thing that happened with Obama when he was in office. He didn't stand up and say, stop it, stop it, stop it.
That's what they want, because it's all about the decolonization of America. It's all about removing our great, wonderful history. It's
the first indication of brainwashing really is you have to remove all of the thought process that you had previously, and then
anything that attaches you to your culture, to the past, or family
that
history.
has to be removed. And if you people don't know that that's what's happening out there, that's why getting us in with a mask on our face and just trying to see. I honestly feel like we were all test subjects through this entire thing.
Well,
so they're doing tests on us. We are guinea pigs.
Absolutely,
and
guinea pigs.
And we're falling in line behind it. Just like sheep, and following in behind each other as we stand idly by and walk in with masks on our face that absolutely scientifically have been proven not to even work. Why would we do it then? Because there's a sign on the door that says that we have to.
Because
2 years now?
Because the slave masters tell you that to make the people around you happy, that you have to comply.
Yeah.
That you have to comply with their bizarre tyrannical dictates and restrictions. And that's a test also. That's a test to see what you're going to do. Are you going to buck up? Are you going to be an American? Or are you going to just lay down and take it and assimilate? I mean, just like the Borg in Star Trek, not to be geeky, but resistance is futile. That's basically what Joe Biden tells America, that your resistance to the slave masters is futile.
Yeah, and that you're an insurrectionist, and that you are a terrorist, a domestic terrorist. We got called a domestic terrorist the other day on our podcast comments. Definitely want to start showing some of those. And we're a domestic terrorist because we happen to mention, just in a jokingly manner, white privilege, duct tape, and how to use it. And all we were really trying to do,
privilege engineering, which actually, a friend of dark skin helped create that
absolutely.
moniker. And so we have laughed about it.
It's just a joke, and it's a lot of fun, and we do some crazy stuff, and we're trying to show that all people are exactly the same, and we all should be able to joke and be able to laugh about the same stuff and do the same stuff. Hey, duct tape is a go-to for everyone, by the way, for fixing that, and what you said, zip ties, it's a go-to for everyone. So
and that's how crazy it's gotten in our society.
Can't say anything.
Which I will say. I'm going to say a lot, actually, and I'm never going to stop. And you can give me a black eye, and I'm going to speak the truth with a black eye.
Me too.
So just keep it up, because I don't care.
We need to be able to celebrate the 4th of July. We need to be able to celebrate this month, and actually have a free conscience in mind that, you know what, our history is there. Sure, there was some wrongs in our history, but that's how we learn. But there's wrongs in everything in our day-to-day life.
Right.
Okay, you can't just take all the positives and not have the negatives, because otherwise it'd be we wouldn't have learned a thing.
Even when I listen to friends or people that approach me with a little bit different viewpoint than I have, I try to listen when they approach me logically, and with a little bit of critical thought, and maybe they just have a different slant on that. And I try to listen, I try to be respectful, but I'm not going to have respect for these idiots that just completely lack a logical thought process, and they throw stuff out because they don't like what we have to say. As far as I'm concerned, you can shut your hot dog hole.
Unless you're eating a hot dog on 4th of July.
God bless America.
God bless America. Well, I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap it up on that note. We had a great time. We hope you had a great time. We hope that this podcast finds you all safe out there.
Yeah.
And just many hats off to you out there, fellow patriots. Just keep on fighting the good fight, and
let's keep talking
living
about
living the standards that we've set. That family, friends, and our pursuit of happiness is very important.
Absolutely.
And we love you out there, and we'll see you next time on Red Boots and Heels. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.